The shocking truth is out. For decades, black men were unwittingly subjected to horrific experiments. It sounds like comic book fiction, but these experiments were part of a quest to find drugs to control the mind and create super soldiers. This dark chapter in American history took place at the Addiction Research Center, also called the Narcotics Farm, in Lexington, Kentucky. The ARC was a seemingly ordinary facility, but behind its walls, the CIA was conducting its notorious MK-Ultra program. The story of the ARC and its abuses remained hidden for far too long. It wasn't until 2019 that the truth began to surface. Black researchers organizing a psychedelic therapy training workshop in Louisville, Kentucky, encountered resistance. The community harbored a deep mistrust of such research. This mistrust stemmed from the horrors that took place at the ARC. This discovery sparked outrage and a demand for answers in the scientific community. The story of the ARC is a stark reminder of the systemic racism that pervades medical research. It also highlights the urgent need for ethical and inclusive practices. The ARC was a unique institution. It was both a federal prison and a drug treatment hospital, with both voluntary and incarcerated patients. This dual function gave it a captive population for its experiments. Most of the inmates were black men imprisoned for drug offenses. These men were seen as easy targets for the CIA's MK-Ultra program. MK-Ultra was a top-secret operation. The CIA believed that drugs like LSD held the key to unlocking the mind's secrets. The ARC, with its vulnerable population, became a testing ground for these cruel experiments. The racial disparities in the ARC's research subjects were appalling. While black people made up a small percentage of Kentucky's population, they represented most of the test subjects and were used in the most dangerous experiments. This was no accident. It was a deliberate act of racism. The ARC's experiments were shrouded in secrecy. The men were often unaware of the true nature of the substances they were given. They were denied basic human rights and treated as expendable. The experiments conducted at the ARC were nothing short of barbaric. Black men were given high doses of LSD and other mind-altering drugs. They were subjected to these experiments without their informed consent. The researchers ignored their pleas for help. They documented the men's suffering with cold detachment. Years later, one survivor, Edward Flowers, bravely shared his story before Congress. He described being given increasingly high doses of LSD. Flowers endured this torture for months. He was offered heroin as a reward for his participation. The trauma Flowers experienced left him with lasting emotional scars. Sadly, his experience was not unique. Countless black men suffered similar fates at the ARC. They were treated as less than human. Their pain was ignored. Their brains were forever altered by the experiments they endured. The MK-Ultra experiments were a gross violation of human rights. The abuses were allowed to continue for decades, a stain on the history of American science. The ARC later became the National Institute on Drug Abuse. No one was ever punished. Thanks for listening. Join the conversation. Here's how you can get involved.